Hi, I want to thank you for tuning back in. I apologize for some of the unedited stuff, but I'm trying to do this and make it as real as possible. I hope you notice I'm wearing the same clothes. I'm doing this all in one day. I didn't want to make it torturous. I wanted to summarize it and then start a conversation for anybody who has question, comment, concern, wants to know more. We can always bring it up. I was going to write a book on the subject, but that's the hardest way to get through to people. Maybe now in the modern era, if you can get us through in a couple of lectures, we can get it all together. But where we left off in the last episode, we were discussing the third law of On and how it applies to the whole of human civilization. And I think we left off, we had just started the age of Pisces, the age of us versus them. And that started around 148 BCE and ended 1221-12. And now comes the age of the rainbow, Aquarius. So Aquarius being the rainbow, the age of the rainbow is arising, and we see the rise of the rainbow in our community. The LGBTQ plus, the rainbow generation, catch the rainbow somewhere over the rainbow, etc. And it means that we're upgrading our consciousness. We're going to remember that God is consciousness. God's not some man watching little children suffer. No, 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 no. God is consciousness. God is no more responsible for a child being sick in a bad meat machine than you are. And it takes us one more step. We're going to go and we're going to graduate, and now you're going to know why the ancient artwork shows spacemen and stuff like that. Let me explain why. Because we're ultimately destined to reach back to the age of Capricorn in another 2,000 years or so. We're going to go back to the age of Capricorn. We will be the intelligent creatures which navigate the waters of life. We are once again going to navigate the waters of life. We are going to start space colonization. Now, when I say space colonization, I don't mean soon. We'll be on Mars and Moon a lot sooner than that. But when I say space colonization, we're going to send a fleet of ships out. As I understand it from ancient myth or using sacred math, 12 ships containing 144,000 passengers are going to leave the Earth with intent never to return on ships that can go perennially forever under continued fuel and food source. And that's our destiny, to go colonize the Earth, just how we humans here on Earth got started. Now, a couple of things I know I forgot to mention. One is there's only three ways to recreate creation. One is to chant Om, the sound of creation. Another one is to use the number 12, because 1 and 2 is 3, and sacred math, 3 is creation. The other one is to play. It is reasoned that when God willed the universe into existence, he didn't have to. Everything we do as a living creature, you have to do. You got to chop wood and fetch water and feed yourself, even in paradise. But when you're playing, it's the only thing you do that's voluntary. So God must have been at play when he willed the earth and the universe into existence and the universes into existence. And that's why when we send children out to play, we call it recreation. I'm sorry, recreation. That's why they call it recreation. It's recreation. There's only 3. Remember, it always takes 3 to make 1. That's the third way. So I thought you'd like that. Now, the last little bit that I think you'll enjoy, let's move on to some fun little tidbits. So we know that Christmas is the oldest holiday. When it happens, the 21st is the shortest. It pops back up on the 25th, so the Son of God is reborn. And that guarantees that we will be reincarnated. It's been changed by the Catholic Church to mean the death of one and resurrection of one individual, but it hopes that we all will be reincarnated, and that's the celebration, a holy time of Easter. It's celebrated all over. Halloween being the third oldest holiday, a commemoration of the apocalypse. And so we have all of that. Now, takes us back, so we now know the 3 laws of On. And we also know the year is 23,771. Do the math yourself. If 12/21/12 was the end of Pisces, the beginning of Aquarius, count back the requisite number of years, 2160 times 11, and you'll get to the right year. And that tells us what year was the beginning, and this is the year 23,771. See, the false narrative is here. But now, the question and the thing I promised to tell you is how I know all of this. I leaned to it before, but I might as well get into it. True story. I spent my entire life studying everything there is in human origins. Why? Because in high school I read that they killed the Gnostics. And I read old ancient books that only priests and bishops and stuff read, and monsignors. And it said that the Gnostics were evil for the following reasons. They knew there were 13 stages of life. How could that be evil? That's why we don't have 13 floors in office buildings. 13 was turned into evil. So you didn't know recreation, or you will be reincarnated. So you're not supposed to know that. So think about it. While you were all here, and everyone watching this video, and this video series, have been saying to yourself, oh, this is my first time on earth, and I'm sure of it. No, you're all been brainwashed. While you were welcomed to this earth by your family and friends when you were born, I was welcomed back. My grandmother knew that I had come here for a reason, and from the very earliest of age had me trying to figure out why I came back. And I told her when I was a preschooler that I came back to teach the world something about itself. And I had forgotten all about that as an adult. My life went on until one day I realized I was listening to something Graham Hancock had said, and something I had previously theorized, but he's the first one to think the same thing I thought. All around the globe, the ancient priests hold what they look like man bags in the ancient artwork. And I realized that was their ability to talk to God. Where humans all used to take magic mushroom and talk to God regularly, because the mushroom is a way to expand your consciousness. Trust me, that's how we got to where we are now. Now, after the apocalypse, only the ancient high priest took the mushrooms and talked to God. So these man bags were carrying their stash, and it was always magic mushrooms, no other hallucinant, because I've experimented, and no, there's only one that's pure and always the same. And different people taking it together can see the same visual imagery. Isn't that strange? So there is a power to the consciousness and all. But anyway, I decided as an experiment that I'm going to take magic mushrooms. And I set it up, and I took enough magic mushroom spores. I put it into tea, and I took about 8:30 in the morning. No, 10 to 9. And I drank 4 cups of regular tea with the magic mushroom spores. I had a big palm full of spores. I knew it was enough for at least 4 people to get them totally tripping. I was telling my son that it would take about 45 minutes according to everything I read. And I did this as an experiment because I wanted to see what they saw. I wanted to see what they saw. These people who took those mushrooms and supposedly talked to God. What did they see? Because I don't believe in a man who watches little children suffer. I don't see it that way. And wasn't 20 minutes in, I started giggling. My son was asking me, who was down in the basement with me, and in front of a big screen TV. He's sitting on a couch, and I'm sitting on a chair across. And he says, what are you giggling at? And the speckled carpet floor that's been here for 30 years, I realized something. It makes a pattern. It's a 3-dimensional pattern. It's not just a randomly speckled carpet. Look, and I took a piece of chalk, and I could draw out the various squares, one within the other, within the other, within the other, within the other. And it went out along a slope, making 3-dimensional, appearance of depth. And all of a sudden, my senses become very acute, and I could almost hear sound, right? I mean, see sound. Really weird. And then I start laughing again because I swear the TV is answering every question I'm asking in my mind. I'm hearing this chorus of voices in my mind, welcome me back. And I'm smiling again, and they're all welcoming me back, but I notice the TV is answering every question I got. And I tell my son, he's laughing. He goes, what are you doing now? What are you laughing at? I says, I swear to God, God's talking to me through the TV. Barney Simpson from How I Met Your Mother, big full-head screen on the TV right in front of me, says, do I have to be more obvious? So I point to my son. He goes, so what? I says, yeah, I think I might have taken too much of this stuff. I'm a little afraid. And Barney Simpson says, oh, so what, are you going to ruin all of our good times? So I turn to my son and I says, no, I'm going to enjoy the hell out of this trip. And the whole gang in the booth, in the bar, go, yay. My son now starts looking at me strange. I says, change the channel, change the channel. He changes the channel 1 up. And there is the big head from Mockingjay. I can't think of his name in the Wilk. I don't know why it's escaped me for the minute. But he says, Donald Sutherland, big white head. It's only a matter of time before we met. I looked at my son. I said, see? My son drops the clicker and says, I'm not listening anymore. He puts his fingers in his ears. He starts marching out. And I'm trying to get his attention. Jay, I want to put the computer on. I want to tape this. But he leaves, and I see through the shadows in the basement him walking past the various windows. Well, then it started getting strange. Not only were these voices welcoming me back, that I haven't been there since I was a little boy, when I saw the Golden Book. I've seen the Golden Book. They knew in my dreams I saw the Golden Book. Anyway, there's voices, and they're talking about me, but in the third person. They keep talking about me in the third person. He's afraid. Every thought, every emotion, every hesitation had a peanut gallery. It was like the picture in the Sistine Chapel, where you see God's finger touching Adam's finger, and God has a cacophony, a peanut gallery of people behind him talking and whispering to each other, and there's a female voice whispering wisdom in his ear. That's the goddess Sophia. And that's what it was like. Very clearly to me, I knew exactly that's what was going on. And the peanut gallery voices were talking about my emotions, my fears, my this, my that. And the female voice didn't speak up yet, but one of the voices says, "Why are you back? You said you'd never come here again." Now, I did have that experience when I was in college. I had a bad trip. Doing acid, not magic mushrooms, and I'll never do that again. And so I know I came back. I told him I came here to learn. A cacophony of laughter. All the drug addict came here to learn. And the one guy says, "You're not ready." He's not ready. Didn't speak to me indirectly. They always referred to me in the third person, which is the strangest thing because I tried consciously to change that and could not. That very overwhelming in my head. They kept talking about me in the third person. Anyway, the female voice speaks over the first time and says, the one voice said, "I'm not ready." And she says, he asked, therefore he's ready. The question is, does he want to know? Does he promise to share what we show him? We show him. We show him. Not we. I show you. We show him. And I said, yes. And does he promise, even if nobody believes him, to share it with the world? And I do. And he says, even if you spend your whole life trying to convince a handful of people that what you saw was true? And I said, I will. And he says, even if once you stuff what you produce to the world, you download to the world, becomes public knowledge, that's the end of your life. Do you still want to know? And I said, yes. At this point, I decided I'm breaking out in a sweat. Like, I take it too much. I clearly have overdosed on drugs. This female voice has got me thinking it's going to teach me something. So I go over to the garbage can. It's a kitchen garbage can we had in our basement next to the television. And the top was popped open, and it was filled pretty much to the top. And I went to go there to throw up. I'm testing to make myself throw up. But remember, I only took spores. I didn't take stems or caps. So I had no material other than the tea to throw up. And by now, being some time in, that's mostly digested, right? It's liquid. It goes right through. And I went to go throw up, and in the radiating in the garbage can from the sunlight from the one window there was a wrapper, a gold wrapper from my son's cigarette pack, and it was partially blocked by a dirty kind of crumpled up paper towel. And as I went there to throw up, I kind of went out of vision, and out of the corner of my eye, if I stared directly at it, it was just a wrapper wrapped with paper towel. When I looked a little away, trying to decipher what that other thing was under the paper towel, out of the corner of my eye, I now see a bunch of people standing around a book on a table, and the book is glowing gold. And I actually got up on my tiptoes to throw up. But when I did, I got to refocus in, and I was looking over somebody's shoulder who turned and looked at me. And he was like somebody from ancient Greek times. And there was people from all different times, and Indian princesses and Indian priests and all sorts of stuff from all the different generations, men and women. And they're all staring at the book. And as I looked at the book, it was the globe on a pedestal, radiating gold. And it was the globe like on a teacher's desk on a pedestal. And the female voice told me that as long as you don't look directly at it, you can know everything and about the world. But be careful what you stare at. Don't stare too long. You can look, but don't stare. It'll forever change you. So I looked, and the first thing that caught my eye was the zodiac around the globe, in like a three-dimensional thing in the book here. And what caught my eye was Capricorn at the 12 o'clock position, and it was the sea goat. And it had my face as a newborn. Not knowing anything about the zodiac, I looked at the 1 o'clock position, and it was me crawling away as fast as I can from my mother as she's tickling me, and me racing and climbing up on a coffee table and clearing the coffee table in a matter of seconds. And then I looked at the 2 o'clock position, or no, later on in the 1 o'clock position, and I'm now the walking, talking toddler, sucking my thumb and holding a blanket. At 2, I was screaming at my mom. At 3, I was asking a million questions. At 5, I was introduced to society. At 8, I traveled around with a pack of friends and joined Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts and baseball and all that. And at 13, I entered my teenage years. And at 21, I entered the marriage years, right? And married the law profession and married my wife around 25. Had children. At 34, I joined the age of Pisces when my children were approximately 5 years old. When they start school, I start Pisces. Lived my age of Pisces. I saw the whole thing. Well, I come off my feet at that point because my legs started to shake. And I lost focus for a second. So I again looked back at it and fortunately enough was able to go back. But now this time, I saw the whole human race. I saw myself in a cave city, lost. And some woman trying to help me find my parents. And there was just room after room after room after room after room of people in a cave city. And then I saw myself out holding nets and running and chasing and curbing corralling prey animals. And then I saw myself doing hand signals. And then I saw myself breathing out and moving because the land got arid. And we moved down to the Black Lake. And then I saw myself, I saw every stage. I saw the age of Libra, making tools and making the separation, the specialization of skills and work. And then I saw society, and I wasn't rich, but I saw that there was rich. And then I saw the apocalypse, and the sky was black and orange. That's how I know about what the black and orange. I saw it. I saw what the 7 comets did. The 7th one hit Washington State and caused the Grand Canyon in a matter of minutes. The Scablands, that 100 square mile whatever land, is where it blasted through it 2 miles of ice and burned the thing. This is what caused the underdress. I saw it. I saw the tidal wave that sunk Atlantis. As I continued around that clock again, remember? Going around the gold in a clock type formation. I went through all the things, and I saw the age of the rainbow, and I saw the age of Taurus, the bull, and the forced religious worship, and ham being shoved down people's throat for refusing to eat their ham on Easter Sunday. And I saw the ram's horn and voluntary religious practice. Then I saw the rise of Christianity. Then I saw the rise now of the rainbow generation. And then I saw us traveling in spaceships to never return to Earth. They're going to leave permanently on ships that generations upon generations can live in them. They'll travel really fast, and we're never to return to the Earth to go start colonization elsewhere. And that's the fate of mankind. Now, I saw all of this. Now, you can imagine I was woozy. I thought I was gone for days. I'm summarizing it as quickly as I can. I was gone for a little over 4 minutes. I'd love to say 4 minutes and 32 seconds, but I can't prove that. But a little over 4 minutes I was gone. I decided to go sit back down in my chair, in my swivel chair, and I was going to light a cigar. And I swear to God, the female voice says to me, "At this most holiest time of your life, now you're gonna destroy the machine, the vessel that carries your soul." Okay, put the cigar down. I really did. So I started thinking to myself. I says, "How is anybody going to know I was here?" Now, right next to my chair is a wooden paneling of a post, and it's wood paneled. And sticking out of that were 2 hands, and they showed me 10 and 60. She says, the voice, "This is your proof you were here." I didn't know what 60 base math was at the time. Never heard of it. But I went and looked it up and learned all this stuff from it. This was my symbol that I'd been here. I know 60 base math. So then it started getting silly, and I'm thinking, wow, this is overwhelming. And I'm thinking, okay. And that's when I realized the 3rd law I learned first was history. The 2nd law I learned was math. And the 1st law is what? Science. It's how we know what everything is, how we categorize everything. And it led me moment, boom, 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 boom. And oh my God, there is an old man, so to speak. In a laughing kind of gesture, there is an old man. Nobody's ever seen him. But there is conscious will at the very root of all of this. Consciousness is the only thing that takes up no time or space and is infinite, that we know exists. Most people want to say love, but love had to start somewhere, and love is affected by time, right? Distance over time, absence makes the heart grow fonder. So, no, only consciousness is the thing that's eternal, and that is God. And I learned all this. Now I decided I had enough. I walked the dogs, went and had a smoke. Woozy almost. I decided, you know what, if anybody's ever taken magic mushrooms, you have a high peak, like a high roller coaster, well, you're going to get a 2nd one and a 3rd one as it circulates through your body. And I could feel it surging through my body, so I decided to go up to my bedroom and lay down and see what I see in my mind's eye. And what I did was I tried to make a visual imagery of this girl, but all I could ever do was hear her voice. Very calm, soothing mother, the goddess of wisdom, goddess Sophia. And she asked me, do I want to astrally travel to see all the other Earths? And there was like neurons, I don't know how to, energy neurons, if you will, that connect everything. And she says, and I try to climb on it, and she says, "Boy, you're rusty." Swear to God, she says, "Boy, you are rusty. You just touch it." And I touched it, and I was somewhere else. At that point, the dogs burst into the bedroom. That was the end of that. I spent the next several days trying to write down everything that I remembered. And the one thing that sticks with me is I promise to share this with the world, and I have. And Anunnaki, which I am, and that's how I know all of this, because I realize I'm Anunnaki. Anunnaki is something you call yourself. It's not something somebody calls you. You claim to be of God and Mother Earth. You recognize the existence of An. That's why it's Anunnaki. you recognize the existence of on. On animates matter, right? So that's the lesson of it all. And Nikola Tesla was a Nuniki. That's why everybody tried to display him when he started getting crazy at the end, because he was trying to show everybody how it's all related. And people started saying, oh, he's crazy, 3, 6, and 9. Well, this guy's losing his rocker. No, he was a Nuniki. He recognized it. It's something you call yourself. And the funniest thing I want you to know, in case you don't realize on is still in control, remember, amen means I'm on, right? And to be turned on when you take magic mushrooms, you're turned on or tuned in, right? You're turned on. Well, it has one final connotation. On is the light of the world. That's its full description. It has no physical manifestation. It is just simply the light of the world. Consciousness is the light of the world. Well, when you go to a light switch in a dark room, you turn the light switch on. You invite the light of the world into the room. And you think you know what you're doing. Have I changed your paradigm? Leave me a like, leave me a comment, share. The idea is to get this information out there. I've tried to reduce it to 6 videos only, and I hope I won't take any more than 21 minutes of your time. Love to all. All right, and any questions, drop me up. Maybe I'll post more videos later down the road based upon the questions I receive. All right, thank you.